JKB back with another episode. Today I'm reviewing something so crazy. I can't believe I got to do this. The Jedi challenges from Lenovo. It is an AR experience that I have never seen before. The idea of actually having an AR headset and an actual lightsaber in your hand is just ridiculous to me. But somehow they've miraculously figured out how to put a lightsaber into your hand. So let's get into the review of the Jedi challenges. I think it's been a dream of every young boy who's ever seen Star Wars to hold a lightsaber in their hand, and Lenovo has gotten me so close to that dream. When I was first fooling around with AR on my phone, I thought that this technology was fascinating. Augmented reality is the ability to place 3D objects into the real world around you using your camera and real-time motion tracking. I could get into how this actually works and what it is actually doing to project Darth Maul in front of you and to project a lightsaber blade in front of you. However, I don't want to get into super technical detail in this review. I'll say that it's simple. You take out a tray that's in the headset here, and you put your phone into it, and your phone is essentially going to play some video that has, say, Darth Maul on it with a black background, and that's kind of projected onto the front of what looks like kind of like a mirror inside of this, and somehow all of that works together to display a hologram in front of you, and when you move your actual head, the hologram moves with you like AR does. So without getting into super detail, I'll say that the technology is very, very cool and fascinating. And the idea of like putting an actual hologram in front of you is spectacular. But there are still some problems with it. The motion tracking isn't perfect, and at times you do have to adjust your lightsaber by kind of like hitting a button on here to readjust the blade to make sure that you're actually swinging where you're swinging. So the technology is all here, and it all comes together to create an experience that is very, very, very cool. And if you're a Star Wars fan, it is unbelievable. The first time you turn on the lightsaber with this in your hand, it vibrates, and when you have headphones in, it's loud and it's just in front of you, and it's when you move it in front of this headset, there's a blade being swung around. I mean, it's not perfect, but this is the closest I've ever been to holding a real lightsaber. The idea behind Jedi Challenge is simple. Become a real Jedi. You'll have lightsaber battles against iconic Star Wars villains, you'll play holo chess, and there's even a strategic tower defense mode built into this game as well. But the most fun you'll have is with the lightsaber. Like I said, turning the lightsaber on in front of you and experiencing it humming in front of you is like unbelievable. And I'm telling you, it's like I said, it's very hard for me to demonstrate that or show you, but the idea is quite simple. You turn it on in front of you and you've got the blade just there, and you swing it and it makes the noise, and it's like I'm holding a lightsaber. It vibrates, it has amazing sound effects, and here's the kicker. All of the battles are so much fun to play, but it's not exactly what you think it is. You do have this tracking device that sits on the floor. There's a few different colors it turns, and the headset itself has two little sensors on the front. Now this is going to track the space that you're playing in. So you have to put this on the floor, and then the headset will know where the limits are of where you're walking. So if you walk outside of it, it'll notify you like you're outside of the zone, or it'll simply just go all wonky. So you have to step back, the sensors will see the tracking device on the floor, and yes, the lightsaber itself also, which you can't, it's very hard to see, has its own light as well. I don't know if you could see that, which can be changed if you're good at the game. You've got your blue, green, and I'm not going to say what the last color is, but this all comes together to create something so special in terms of the lightsaber that I'm so happy with that aspect of this whole package. The motion tracking is achieved using the headset's two front-facing fisheye lenses. Now this is going to track and sense the tracking orb on the ground and the lightsaber tip. Now although the beacon takes a couple of AAA batteries, the headset itself and the lightsaber are charged through micro USB. Now, the gameplay is broken up into 3 aspects. You can play the holo chess, which I'll be honest is a little boring after a while, and there's also a tower defense game, which is kind of a lot of moving with the head, and it does eventually kind of cause a little bit of an issue with your neck. But obviously, the starring gameplay here is battling some of the villains. And I mean, you go through Darth Maul. You know what? I don't want to give it away. Let's just say Kylo Ren is ridiculous in this game. Now, the gameplay itself, in terms of how you swing this, is quite simple. You've got the character walking in front of you, and you get a notification on screen of when and where he's essentially going to kind of slash, and you're able to block that based on where you raise your actual lightsaber. So you'll see a big yellow streak across the screen, and you have to raise your lightsaber at that time to block out that attack. And then at the right moment, you can swing back any way you want, but there are also special attacks for you as well that'll be displayed on screen in front of you. So it's really a game of waiting for him to swing. Do I block here? Yes, I do. Okay, I got my moment. Boom, I'm going to cut him in half. There's also a mini game that's going to kind of get you into it with, you know, battle droids from episode 1 or the classic stormtroopers who are simply walking around shooting at you, and you can knock their... It's crazy. You knock their lasers back at them and hit them, or you can block the lasers and send it off flying. So gameplay-wise, you're going to get kind of a wide spectrum here, but I mean, some of it is kind of forgettable, but I know that they plan on introducing new things to this as it goes. For instance, The Last Jedi obviously just came out and everybody's seen that. There's a lot of content from that movie in the device, which I'm not going to spoil whatsoever. The graphics of the game are great, and the animation of the characters standing in front of you looks so good. It's so intimidating standing in front of Darth Vader. Let's get to the good and the bad of the Jedi challenges and figure out if you're the type of person that really wants to spend all of this money just for this little experience, but it might be worth it, it might not be. It's going to depend on how much of a Star Wars fan you are. So I'm going to start with the bad. The motion tracking in the saber swing isn't always spot on. Sometimes you're swinging and the blade kind of goes wonky and it's just confusing and you have to realign it. And once it's realigned, you're good to go. So that's kind of a disappointment, but I mean, this is technology that is just starting out on iPhone and Android devices, and I mean, they really stepped up and introduced something else to AR that I mean, I hope this headset is used in other things because it is really cool, and I can see a lot of kids loving it. Using your phone is all right, but the setup kind of takes a while to get this thing going, and at times it can be a little intimidating. So if you have a kid out there and you get it for your kid, definitely set it up with them. 3 game modes kind of get fast quick. The idea of having a tower defense game built into this and using your lightsaber to move things around, you actually move your head around to point and click at things. I mean, it's a cool idea, and I give them a lot of, you know, props for that. But I don't know if it needs to be here. And the holo chest is just very, very, very simple. I mean, it's the holo chest we all know and love from the Millennium Falcon that, you know, R2-D2 and C-3PO play versus Chewbacca in A New Hope. That's kind of cool to experience once, but after that, you're kind of over it. There's also another issue that I think a lot of people might feel, but the field of view, once you put this on, is very narrow. You don't get too much to see. You have to look around, and when the characters come right up to your face, you have to like scan them to look around and look around them, and it's like, get away from me. So you cut them in half, and that's that. But it's a very narrow field of view, and that is kind of a bad thing. I wish it was wider. The next one isn't for everybody, but the AR headset itself caused some, I wouldn't say a headache, but I mean, it hurt after wearing it for a while. And I don't know if this is just me, but I don't know. It's tough to say. I'll just say that I played it for 3 hours straight the first time I played. My neck and my head were just done. And I thought, okay, well, yeah, this is going to come down to your own personal preference of how long you want to play the device. I'm going to suggest to play it for 15 minutes at a time, you know, defeat one enemy, and then have a sit down, take it off, relax. The last thing that's kind of bad here is it's super expensive. In Canada, it's like $300. In the States, 200 and something dollars. This is something that is for hardcore Star Wars fans, and that's where the problem might lie. It might be too exclusive for certain people that have that much, you know, that don't have that much money, I should say, sitting around. Now, let's get to the good. The headset is wireless and gives you a really, well, I'm gonna say it's a decent holographic effect. I mean, I've never seen anything quite like it, so I'm very impressed with that, but I think it could get better in the future. The lightsaber hilt is so incredibly detailed. To be a Star Wars fan and see this thing in person, this is like, I'm not gonna say one-to-one, but I'm like, the people that did this over there, they need a round of applause. This is awesome. If they release Darth Maul's hilt, oh, please make that happen. Lastly, the good is there's a huge range of supported devices for this. Smartphones, of course. You can put, obviously, tons of different ones in there. I'm going to put a link in the underbar to the official site to see if your phone works with it. But let's get into the overall score of this thing. I'm going to give it a solid 7.5 out of 10. It's an experience that every Star Wars fan truly needs to have. I had such a blast with this thing, and you know, outside of being a Star Wars fan, I'm not sure this device is for you. It's a very tough sell. It's just tough to say, do you go out there and spend that much money on this if you're not really into Star Wars? I'm gonna just say, to be honest with you guys, probably not. But this technology, it can go past this. Doesn't need to be a lightsaber. Let's see them take this technology and include it into other things like, you know, Disney and Pixar. You see where I'm going here? For kids, that would be insane to see Wall-E driving around the floor. Oh my God, Wall-E, please do that. And for the people that actually drop the serious money on this itself, the Star Wars version of this, include those updates and get some of them into this as well, into that app. Say, like, if you like what you saw with Jedi Challenges, try this little demo out and then make it, you know, an add-on for it, or however you want to do that. But I am so happy I got to do this. So thank you to Lenovo for sending this over for review. I got to send it back to them. Oh, that's okay though. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, as you could tell. Maybe for my birthday, February 17th, Lenovo, you have my address. February 17th. Remember that. Okay? I forget who's the woman who sent this? Melissa. My birthday's February 17th. You have my address. Wink, wink. I'll see you on the next episode of JKB. It'd be a great birthday gift. Lenovo? Oh, I don't know how many people touch this.